Now, the California governor and Joe Biden, they've been seeking to politicise these fires. I think Joe Biden accused Trump of climate arson, fairly hyperbolic language there. How much is environmental policy a issue in the upcoming election? Is this being talked about in other places other than California, which is Democrat heartland these days?
I mean, as you all know, I wrote Apocalypse Never to push back against this really exaggerated extreme climate alarmism. I mean, look, climate change is real. It's a problem we should deal with. But the good news actually is that we are dealing with it. I mean, people are attacking. What's ironic is that they're attacking Trump on climate change, but emissions are lower now than when he took office. They declined 2% last year, or 10% of electricity, or 10% of carbon emissions from electricity declined last year, mostly from the transition from coal to natural gas. Our emissions are lower than they've been. So it's not like, and besides, it takes about 30 years or more for the carbon dioxide to translate into warming. So the idea that somehow Trump's going to leave off, that Trump gets in office and then somehow the temperatures are going to rise and the forests are going to burn. I mean, it's just crazy talk. It's so unscientific. And yet it's completely given a pass because the media has been so biased on this. They just hate Trump so much that they basically want to ascribe every natural disaster, every fire on him. And of course, because California is run by a supermajority of Democrats. I mean, we've run the state. I'm a longtime Democrat myself. We've run the state for a very long time. And it's really the state's fault that you have this huge accumulation of wood fuel. Donald Trump doesn't have anything to do with that.
Just very briefly, Michael, before we go, historically, the fires were much worse, I understand. Back in the 1800s, there would be 11 million hectares burned, numbers like that. So it was historically far, far worse. Would you agree with that, your studying of it?
Yeah, I mean, what's changed is that it's the kind of fire is different. So, we used to have, this is where I think it is similar to Australia in the sense that, the scientists estimate between 4 and 12 million acres burned annually before Europeans arrived. But the difference is that those tended to be the smaller, low-intensity fires. And the problems with the fires that we have now is just that we've had so much wood fuel. They end up being this high-intensity fires, and they create, with all the debris on the forest floor, they end up creating what they call ladder fires, where the fires just end up going into the tops of the trees. And that's no good because that often ends up just destroying the whole ecosystem and turning it into shrubland. So really, it's just a management problem. I mean, we can have healthy forests even as global temperatures go up. That's what we've seen in these recent cases where well-managed forests survive the mega fires burning all around them.
Michael Shellenberger, author of Apocalypse Never, which I urge you to read. Thanks so much for coming on Outsiders, and we'll chat again soon. And have a great time in the run-up to the election, mate.
Thanks for having me.